last lesson when we focused on how to explore ways into getting into college and how we would apply. Today we're going to focus on the cost of college. And college can be expensive. If you look here, we're going to look at the college graduates earn more money. Now, yes, it is expensive, but however you see, you reap the benefits of it as well. If you look at the chart, and this is gross amount, and if you remember from last week, gross amount is the amount you make without taking the deductions and the taxes all out. A high school dropout, 1.1 million. You think, oh, that's still a lot of money. No, it's not when you live to be 85 or 90 and you only have $1 million throughout your lifetime. That is not a lot at all. Someone that finishes high school will make 1.5 million throughout their life. Somebody with some college background but did not necessarily graduate, 1.8. An associate's degree, which is like a 2-year degree, 1.9. And someone who finishes with a 4-year degree, you can look here, significantly increases to 2.7 million. And you can tell the higher the level of education you receive, the more pay you receive throughout your lifetime. And so you do see the benefits of investing into college. You kind of, again, that old saying, you reap what you sow. So we're fixing to watch a video on how to pay for college and different ways you can. And hopefully someone else is basically paying for you instead of you having to pay. But if worst case scenario, you having to pay, what you can do in order to get that money.
Have to pay for college. Visualized. You've made the choice to go to school, but by now you've probably discovered it's more expensive than buying a soda. And education is still worth it, but here are 5 tips to help you pay for school. Tip number 1, be self-reliant. Paying for college starts before you actually become a student. One of the best ways to pay for school is through your own work. Get a job and save up early. Having a reservoir of funds available during school can really help smooth out the bumps in your journey. Tip number 2, prepare academically. Being a strong student can help you in 2 ways. 1, you'll be better prepared to handle college-level classes. And 2, you will be eligible to receive more scholarships, since most awards are given based on academic performance. Tip number 3, apply for scholarships. Scholarships come in all shapes and sizes. Research as many options as you can. Your high school counseling office, the internet, your parents' work, your community or state, or the college you plan to attend. All these are good options to investigate. Tip number 4, apply for federal aid. The government has a variety of ways you can receive financial aid. To apply, you'll need to fill out a free application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA. By completing a FAFSA, you are automatically considered for a variety of aid options, including the federal Pell Grant, which does not need to be paid back. Tip number 5, avoid debt. Loans should be an absolute last resort in receiving financial aid. Often, being resourceful and working hard can eliminate your need to take out a loan. That being said, student loans can be a useful option if you find you really need them. Receiving an education can possibly be the most valuable thing you will ever do, but that doesn't mean that it has to cripple your finances. There you have it. We have some tips to give you a head start.
So now we're going to go over in depth a little more of how do you pay for college. And there's multiple ways. One is grants, scholarships, student employment at an institution, student loans, military aid, and family assistance. Now here's a breakdown of where this money actually goes towards. This is an average tuition and fees that can include textbooks, living expenses. A 2-year college, roughly $2,600 a year. A 4-year college, which is a public, and it's in the state that you, like Alabama, that you would go to, $8,200 a year. A public 4-year college that might be out of the state, whether it be somewhere outside of Alabama, of course, would be roughly almost $21,000 a year. And a private 4-year college, which is a college, but it's almost like a private school, you're looking at $28,500 a year. Now, I don't want these numbers to scare you. I mean, yes, I know they can be high, and you think, well, my family can't afford this. Well, that is what we're going to talk about, ways to pay for college without you or your family having to. And that's why it's so important in high school that you take full advantage of your academic classes and you start applying on grants and scholarships. And like I said, we're fixing to go into how to do that. So here are the 5 main costs of college or after high school expenses. Tuition and fee, that means like the classes you're paying for. Room and board would be like if you're living in the dorms. Supplies, of course, like textbooks. Personal expenses like gas, food, groceries. And so it does add up. Again, textbooks are not as cheap as you think they are. You get them free now, but that's because of taxpayers. But when you go to college, you'll actually have to pay for your own. And of course, here's a photo of a dorm to explain that. And then, like I said, your expenses of transportation. How do families pay for college? Some may pay for directly. They may have had a savings account or maybe a Roth account that they had invested in and have been saving that since you've been young, and now that you're older, they're going to apply that money to your college tuition. Also, your contribution. Maybe you have a job in high school and you're putting a little bit back out of each paycheck to pay for school, or even while you're in college to help pay for your tuition instead of having to take out loans if you can't get your grants or scholarships. Now, it's very important that you understand this right here. Grants and scholarships. Think of them as a present, someone giving you a gift. They don't necessarily expect anything in return, although with the grants and scholarships in college, there may be some requirements like keeping up good grades. But other than that, you will not have to pay that money back. So again, take full advantage of these opportunities. So you're probably wondering, well, when do I need to start looking for grants and scholarships? And the answer to that is right now. Some scholarships are offered to you, yes, believe it or not, in the 9th and 10th grade. More scholarships and grants are offered in the 11th and 12th grade. But here's the great news about that. Some of these scholarships that you can receive, and you can see Miss Mary about those, is you win those scholarships now. You don't get the money necessarily at this moment, but when you do get ready to go to college, you will receive that money to help pay for those expenses we looked at a while ago. And I want to stress this. It is your responsibility to be informed on grants and scholarships. Yes, there is a guidance counselor like Miss Mary here at the Freshman Center, and you'll have a new one next year at the high school. But it is not their responsibility to hunt you down and tell you, hey, Johnny, this is the scholarship here that you need to apply for. Now, they usually have a bulletin board with them posted up, or you can go to the guidance counselor and say, Miss Mary, is there any scholarships being offered right now? So let me place the emphasis that it is your responsibility to be informed. They will give you the information, but you have to come and see them. Because remember, there's only one of them and almost 400 of you. Now, a while ago, I mentioned something about requirements that scholarships and grants may have. Some are renewable, which means you can apply on them every year, or it may be good for all the years you attend college. Some may just be good for 1 year, but hey, 1 year is better than no years being paid for. May have to be involved with some community services or activities. A scholarship may require you to do things like that depending on the group or organization that's giving you that scholarship. Now let's focus on this. Being informed, we talked about that. You have your guidance counselor in the 9th grade is Miss Mary. Also, do your own research. Sometimes the university or college that you're attending may offer scholarships, not even just your freshman year, but when you're a sophomore, junior, senior in college for you. And so always be an informed student. If you look at the 3 websites that are listed below here, the Show Scholars Dollars program, the College Counts for Alabama, and the FAFSA program, these are 3 beneficial websites that you can look at personally for yourself to help plan for your future and pay for your future. And here's the main page for the Show Scholar Dollars program. Now they will start actually having applications starting now for the 9th grade and for the Student of the Year. Now there are cash prizes. I believe the last 2 years they've even offered a car if you were the winner of it, or if you were chosen. So there are things that will benefit you now, and then there are things that will benefit you in the future for the Show Scholars program. So be listening again when Miss Mary makes announcements about that. Now let's look at the requirements that you must have in order to be a recipient of the Show Scholars Dollar program. Now the great thing about this is it is awarded to every student in the Shoals area that graduates from high school that meets this criteria. You must be a U.S. citizen. You must attain a C average throughout high school. You must have a 95% attendance record throughout high school, which of course starts in the 9th grade. You must have no behavioral issues throughout your high school career. And if you again meet all these criteria, then they will pay for your first 2 years of college, but you must attend Northwest Shoals. That's where they will pay for the schooling at. So the Show Scholars Dollar program pays for only at Shoals, Northwest Shoals Community College. And this one is at the College Counts Alabama website, and it shows the eligibility for you if you are a student within the state of Alabama, that they will pay for your college education as long as you meet the following requirements. Be a high school senior or a first-time college freshman beginning in the fall of 2013, a U.S. citizen, a resident of the state of Alabama, planning on or are enrolled in an Alabama educational institution, demonstrates financial need, a minimum GPA of 2.75, and an ACT score of a 26 or below. And as I mentioned, here are the award details of a $4,000 for 4-year college enrollees and $2,000 for 2-year college enrollees. Award is one time, it's non-renewable. and granted on a semester basis in the first academic year. Now, how to apply for scholarships. Well, you must submit an application to each scholarship. Many scholarships require short essays, letters of recommendation, maybe by your administrator, your principal, or teachers, and a high school transcript. Now, some of you may be planning on joining the military, and that is fine too. Here are listed, of course, all the different forces that we have in the United States. And you can also talk to a recruiter, and that's who I would go to and talk about if there's anything what they used to call like a GI Bill that will help pay for your college. So while you're enrolled or while you're enlisted in the military, you may they may be able to pay for some of your college expenses. But again, talk to a local recruiter if that is something that interests you. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't know about. It's called student employment positions. These are jobs that are generally located on the campus that you attend, and students are paid for hours they work and are expected to apply their earnings toward their educational purposes. Like you may work at the library, you may work at the residence life, you may work at the recreational gym there that they offer for students at your campus. And this can help lower your college tuition or expenses. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about are student loans. And like the video said just a few minutes ago, that this should be your last option if you cannot pay for your college tuition or college expenses. So student loans are money or is money that is repaid over several years, usually with interest. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about this a little more in detail. It's designed to help students pay for university tuition, books, and living expenses. And like I said, tomorrow we're going to talk about the positive and negatives of taking out student loans. I apologize for this video to being so lengthy. I understand there's a lot of detail and information, but this is something that is very vital to your future and felt like it was very important to go in detail over it. Again, I hope you have a wonderful day.